Hey everybody, welcome back to Grumpy Acres. Well, it's a nice crisp October morning. It's Saturday about 8:15, 8:30. Yeah, I slept in a little late. Actually, I didn't sleep in, I've been up. I just didn't feel like getting dressed and coming out in the cold. But anyway, so I was going to shoot a video discussing homestead communications this morning. But I got out and I started getting up on the roof so I could show you the antennas and stuff up close, and it's slick. We had a hard freeze last night. There's ice in any standing water, and there's frost all over the place. My butt's all wet because I was on the ATV and I just melted the snow on the frost on the seat. So instead of talking about homestead communications, I'm probably going to wait till it warms up and it burns all the frost off the metal roof and makes it so it's not like an ice skating rink up there. I thought I'd talk about our plans for the goats and the sheep. So over here, I kind of showed you a little bit when we toured around. We'll go over there in just a second and take a closer look, and we'll talk about what we're going to do. But first thing we were concerned about was winter's coming, so we need a shelter for them. We need a loafing shed. And we started pricing, and with the price of lumber going as high as it's been, and the prefab loafing sheds and all that, that was just way too much money to spend. So what we decided to do was we bought a carport, and let me show you what we got. So we got this carport, and it's a 10 foot by 15 by 7 foot high. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn that into basically a pole barn loafing shed. And let's go over there and take a look. First, I got to drag it. That thing weighs about 200 pounds. I don't feel like carrying it all the way over there. So I'm going to use a little bit of that mechanical advantage we talked about and move it over there. So I had already brought 2 boxes over before I started filming, and as you can see, using the ATV to pull that pallet with that box on there was a heck of a lot nicer than dragging it over here by hand. So this area right here, we're gonna go in there and take a look at that in just a second. But before I do that, so this is the field. So this field over here is where we're going to have our primary paddocks for the goats and sheep. What we're going to do is we're going to fence this off in a big square, and as close as I can figure it, I'll be able to get 3 paddocks in there this spring, where I can run electric fence from here back down to where those cedar trees are, and have 3 distinct areas, and then I can move them week to week from area to area. I think they'll be big enough that they won't be able to eat it down, and if I need more, eventually I can come over this area over here where there's a bunch of trash and stuff, and I can clear that out, and I can make more paddocks over there. And we're going to be supplementing them with hay. The big field across on the other side of where the fruit trees are, we're going to rehab that and turn it back into a hay field. So this area right here was fenced off for small animals. Well, small, like goats and sheep. They had goats at one point here, so I'm thinking this is where they had their goat pen at one point, because it's got higher fences, like 50 inches tall, and it's got T-posts in, and it goes all the way around. Now the fence right here is falling down, as you can see. But I'm going to cut this out, and that's where the carport's going to go. And the back of the carport's basically going to be right here. I mean, I'm straddling this fence. And I'll be able to come out and come down here, and I'll put an access on the back side of it, and I can feed them right through the loafing shed if I want to. There's a gate over here. We're going to go take a look at that in just a second so we can get in there. In fact, come on, let's walk over there. As we're walking over here, part of the problem with utilizing this area is we had the septic tank put in, and the lateral lines run right down here to right there, and right here is where I said the loafing shed is going to be. So we got to be careful using this area. We can't be driving trucks and stuff across it, or we'll crush the lateral lines. We will be able to get in as long as we don't do it very often. Back of the house over here, and then we'll be able to utilize, I don't know if you can see it, there used to be a gate right here. It's behind all these trees that were torn out whenever we had the septic replaced. But if we go through here, there's a gate right here, and it's big enough. I've got a metal vehicle gate that I'll be able to put in there. One of the things I got to do, this post, that post needs to be replaced. And I probably ought to replace that one over there too, so I can put the gate in. So this area is enclosed, and it's actually a little bit bigger than the enclosure we had them in at the old Grumpy Acres. I got to get, those are old burn barrels. I got to get those out, but it's pretty clean in here. There's a couple of big railroad ties sitting there that I got to pull out, but I'll be able to reuse them for something. I'm not quite sure. So this will give the goats and sheep about a month worth of activity while I work on the big pasture. But they'll clean this out pretty good. And then these trees right here, I'm gonna thin those out because they're planted way too close together, or they're growing too close together. I don't think they were planted that way, but I need to pull those out. That'll give us some firewood down the road. And then eventually all these small shrub trees, between the goats grazing on them and the sheep rubbing up against them and the baby cleaning his horns on them, they'll tear all these up, and then eventually I'll come in and cut them out. Okay, so this area right here, so just to give you reference, right there's where the loafing shed's going to go. So right here where that fence is down, I'm going to take those two T-posts out, and I'm going to put some more heavy duty posts in, and I'm going to put another vehicle gate right there. So basically what we'll have is this area that I'm standing in right now. We'll be able to get the animals in here and close them up and give them a little bit of safety. You know, the moms and the babies can be in here whenever predators are active. There's at least one pack of coyotes out there to the south of us, and I heard some the other day to the north of us, and I don't think it was the same one, but you never know. So there are coyotes out here, so we got to be careful of the babies, and the adults too. They'll run the adults if you're not careful. But so we'll be able to keep them in here, and I'll feed them in here. I'll have the trough and everything in here for the water, and then I'll be able to open up this gate that I'm going to put in and run them through the paddocks out here. And so as far as fencing goes, this whole side of this pasture has a fence on it, and then over here on that side there's a 5-wire barbed wire fence down there. And we were looking at it, and the posts are in good shape, so we're just gonna tie the fence to that, not have to drive any more posts. So then all we'll have to do is we'll have to drive a line across down by those cedar trees, and then back up here and tie it into the corner over here where all those barrels are, which I got to move those. It's just another reason why the goats and sheep are going in here, you know. And part of the issue of why we want to start moving on this you know, in the manner we are, is the people that are watching our animals are going in for surgery this next month, and we want to get our animals out of their hair so that they're not having to worry about them while they're recovering from their surgery and stuff. So that's about it. I'm going to go ahead and get to work putting that thing together. Before I start putting that together, I think I'm going to go light a bonfire and start burning off more trash and stuff that I pull out of here. Take me about 30 minutes to do that, and then I'll start working. And if you're lucky, I'll remember to film the Keystone Cops putting together that loafing shed. Until next time, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Do all that stuff. We do appreciate y'all. Go live a life done free. Grumpy G, Claire. Thanks, Milo.